All right. Start. Uh, of course, your module one is basically um, accounting cycle. Sorry, introduction to accounting and accounting cycle. So maybe, but before that, no, maybe we can start first with the history of accounting. But I will not discuss everything, no, because the main topic for this is all about introduction to accounting, and at the same time accounting cycle. All right. All right, Nicole, in your in your own words or in terms of your understanding, why is it that accounting is accounting in action? Why
Um,
accounting in action? Sige.
I feel like because you accounting like has something to do with money, and you
Mm,
can't really like handle money unless you like do something with it. So that's
all
why
right.
in action.
So accounting is basically money in action. Yes. When you say accounting, it's basically you have your money, diba? You have your financial terms, you have your monetary terms, monetary unit. That's accounting, diba? In every business, there's an accounting, no? Why? Because accounting is basically uh, you monitor performance, you monitor position, you monitor cash flows, you monitor everything, you monitor numbers now in terms of accounting. Okay, very good. So later, before that, no, I will explain to you, no, or discuss about the history of accounting. Saan ba nagsimula ang accounting? Alright? Maybe I will discuss thoroughly about this, no, the Florentine approach or Venetian approach. At the same time, the arrival of income taxations. Now, when you say accounting, it's basically your taxation, right? The Bureau of Internal Revenue always look for FS, especially the income statement. Why? Because they want to see your bottom line at the same time to know the net income. Why? Of course, if you have more net income, BIR is very happy. Why? Because you have more pay or you have taxes to be paid in terms of the government regulations. Why? Taxation is the tax is the lifeblood of the government, right? Because without taxation, it's basically we have no funds, no, in terms of giving, in terms of public welfare, police power, or eminent domain, no, in terms of our country. So meaning, there's a conflict now between accounting and taxation. Yes. Later, I will explain why. And also, market and reporting. Why we need to have reporting. We have standards in terms of accounting. Okay? And the benefits of it is, of course, global accounting standards. Okay? All right. Some of this, I think I will not discuss, but I will focus more on this. Na? Discuss the definition of accounting, the nature and purpose of it, and at the same time, the rule of debit and credit. Kasi uh, Module 1 and Module 2 is Introduction to Accounting, and Module 2 is the accounting cycle. Para, yes, we will discuss about FS, pero para sa akin, mas okay if we discuss more, no? The essence of the debit and credit. Why is it that when you debit asset, why it is on the left side or on the right side? Kasi doon lagi, no? Yes, we have accounting software now. Mas madali ngayon, na? If you have money, you can buy accounting software. But of course, very important is to learn, no? Bakit ganyan yung asset? Bakit ganyan yung liability? Okay, later. Right. Introduction to accounting, no? As what Nicole said, no? Accounting is basically numbers, money. All right. Accounting is, in terms of all civilization, it is called language of business. All right. What do you think is the reason why accounting is the language of business? Mika.
Because accounting basically like it provides you like the necessary information about I guess like in terms of financials like
Mm.
what it's being used for and how it's being used so that
All right.
businesses could make decisions.
All right. Very good. So it is more on financial statements to make decisions. All right. Very good. How about you, Jasper? Why is it that accounting is the language of business?
So because a lot of the processes of business
Mm-mm.
need accounting to like function.
Right.
Example,
Mm-mm.
knowing your capital, your costs,
Very
and
good.
then sales. And
Yes, to know the EBITDA, to know the cost, ano EBITDA, earnings before income, taxes, and interest. All right. So meaning that's the bottom line. Yes. Without accounting, we do not monitor the financial performance, tama? The financial position, the cash flows, uh, the equity side, at the same time the notes to FS, di ba? What if you have your own business and then you are operating for more than 20 or 30 years and yet if there's no accounting, hindi mo alam na you are operating at net loss, 'di ba? Nagpapagod lang kayo, okay? That's why accounting is a language of business to monitor financial performance, financial position, the cash flow, and at the same time, the overall business, no? Sabi nga ni Jasper, to make financial decision, 'di ba? And intended to what? To internal and external users. So later I will discuss about who are the users in terms of FS. Bakit kailangan ng financial statements? Alright. Alam niyo ba, in terms of accounting, yes, it involves or it responds with the economic and social needs, no? And the history of it is it started with a simple recording, okay? Of repetitive exchanges. So meaning paulit-ulit, in terms of recording. That's why we have now accounting. We have the rule in terms of the debit and credit. Yes, sabi ni Nicole kanina, accounting is money. Yes, of course, without money, without the monetary unit, without the Philippine peso, okay, there's no accounting. Banking, yes, accounting is basically banking, but magkaiba sila ha. Banking, but of course, part of it is banking. At the same time, you have your credit. No? Why credit? Because sometimes you have your account receivable, you have your accounts payable. So basically, you have your you owe money, right? And you have also receivable from your customer. That's basically accounting. All right. By the way, if you have question, just raise your hands. Okay. During the time before Christ, the history of it is basically is record keeping no, in Mesopotamia, China, India. It is based on the clay tablet of Mesopotamia. Okay? So, dyan nagsimula ang accounting. Alright. And also during the time of Christ, sino yung accountant sa disciple ni Christ? Okay? So, si Matthew. Matthew is a tax collector. He basically record accounting, uh, performance, taxation. That's why even in the New Testament, there is an accounting now. No? Sabi nga ni Matthew, after a long time, the Lord of those servants came to settle accounts with them. Yan. Also, if you are Muslim, uh, part of their, I think, Quran, they have also they mention simple recording or simple accounting for trade and credit arrangement. So, noon pa talaga may accounting na, okay? And it evolve in terms of uh, transactions. All right. And also, in terms of accounting, is very important is the role of the double entry bookkeeping or double entry system. Started yan with previous bonus, no? And also with the Italian. Okay? What do you mean of double entry system? If you have an idea. What do you think is the or what do you mean of double entry system? No? It is the rule of debit and credit. All right. Rona, you have an idea? What
Yes,
do you mean? Okay.
it's just and konti lang po. But then I know
Mm-mm.
that double credit accounting is
Mm-mm.
every single different section. You
All right.
have two accounts that are both in it. Po.
Very good. Very good. So later, very good, Rona. Very good. Later, I will discuss about the basic accounting equation, okay? Which is asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. When you say double entry system, should be your debit should be equal to your credit. No, hindi pwedeng if you debit 10,000, your credit should be 10,000 also. Okay? Hindi pwedeng you debit 10,000 and you credit 12. Okay, Christina.
I just want to add,
Sure, sure. Sure.
uh, modern accounting was like traced back to Renaissance. Like now we know that Renaissance was the age of like art and that stuff. But actually, it can also be connected to accounting
Very
because
good.
it was during that time that the double entry system
Mm.
was recognized.
Very good, Christina. No? Very good insight. No? In terms of the additional part of it is the accounting, no? The modern accounting system. Okay, very good. All right. So later I will discuss this now. With starting with the basic recording. So later, okay, we will discuss that. Okay. That's why sabi ni Christina, it is now called the perfect double entry form. Okay. Again, debit should be equal to your credit. All right. Later, ha. All right. And now we have also the accounts and you have ledger. Okay. Maybe I will not discuss or I will not give you in terms of uh, uh, entirely now about the double entry. Okay? Later. Okay? Also, in terms of history of accounting, yan, ito na pala yun, debit should be written over your credit. Alright. So, Florentine method is basically the one who introduced the journal entries. Alright. So, this is called double entry bookkeeping. Okay. Yan. So, the basic dual aspect of this is your debit and your credit. All right. So if you have no idea about this, don't worry. I will explain to you the cause of it or the reason of it, why we debit and why we credit. All right. I think some of you have no idea. No? First time to hear about the debit and credit. All right. That's why when you say perfect double entry system, your debit should be equal to your credit. It is also called basic principle of bookkeeping. Yeah? As you notice, there are a lot now na uh, bookkeeper, na? Meaning they merely they basically record the transactions. Right? And when you say bookkeeping, double entry, it is also called principles of balance. Why principle of balance? Again, debit should equal to your credit. That's why should be balanced. Na, as you notice, di ba, pag sinabing accountant, balance na ba yan? Na? Napansin niyo ba? Balance na ba? O, pag hindi pa balance, meaning they're unequal no, in terms of your debit and your credit. Okay? So if you are in accounting line, lalo na pag closing, sasabihin lalo na sa bangko, balance na ba? Alright. Yun yung ibig sabihin na, no? Principles of balance wherein debit should be equal to your credit always. Alright? Or your asset should be equal to your liabilities plus owner's equity. Later, I will discuss the basic accounting equation. Alright. Also, yan. So, meaning, ito yung sinasabi ni Christina, no? The modern accounting now. So, si Luca Pacioli, no? Is the one record the first double entry bookkeeping. So it is called Summa de Arithmetica. Alright? So ano ginawa niya? So he wrote in terms of memorandum book, journal book, ledger. Alright? That's why he is called the father of modern accounting. Okay? I remember, hindi ko pa to alam I remember during our board exam, nagtanong to, sino ba ang father of modern accounting? I have no idea. All right, that's why the father is Luca Pacioli. It was in 1949. All right. Why? Because yes, he wrote book. Parang dinevelop niya the journal entries, the ledger. Kasi dati kasi wala naman, di ba? Simple recording of transactions. You just plus or minus. Ganun lang. But because of Luca Pacioli, he introduced the debit and credit. All right. Subsequent events. So after that, of course, the French revolutions, industrial revolutions, all right? the global industrial economy, as you notice, now because of this, the evolvement or the development of accounting. Yeah, as you notice, you have accounting in terms of government, finance, laws, uh, fixed assets, no, and global industrial economy, diba? And the accounting standards. So meaning, during 1990s lang, no, uh, they introduced the accounting standards. Dati wala naman standards. As long as you add or minus in terms of your accounting, yun na. But because of this, the reason is they introduce accounting standards. What do you think is the reason why there should be an accounting standards? Even in your course, diba? There should be an standard. Why? What do you think is the reason? Joyce. Ong. Ah, sige.
I think
Right.
it's important to have a standard so that there's
Right.
consistency in the different, like the accounting
Okay. Very good.
reflects the different
Consistencies.
companies.
Alright. Very good. Mika? Consistencies. Alright. Very good.
Oh yeah. I wanted to add to that. I guess like if there's consistency, then
Mm,
anyone who can understand
mm.
whatever you're taking into account, and so that it's kind of like a universal language in some kind
Very
of way.
good. The word is universal language. Consistencies. Very good. Christina.
I think there should be a standard because I think today we are working towards globalization. So I think
Yun. Very
there
good.
should be an agreement between amongst almost all individuals what standard they should follow.
Very good. Globalization is also the key. No? That's why now in the Philippines we are the member of ASEAN. So if you are a CPA in the Philippines, so you are also CPA in terms of ASEAN countries like Myanmar, Malaysia, Thailand. Why? Because you have standards na, that we follow in terms of accounting. Okay, very good. All right. That's why, because of that, no, we have now merger acquisition, internal, external reporting, yan. And after that, now, ito na tayo ngayon. No? That's why, uh, I remember, 1990s, no? Mga 1995 siguro yung time na yan. I remember, some companies or some of them, no, they do manual recording. That's why, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, you should also buy, maybe you can use Excel, no? But dati, worksheet, the color yellow one, uh, some of them, no, they use that worksheet. They wrote everything, di ba? Napakatagal. Kasi you journalize, then you post it, and then trial balance, you adjust, then trial balance ulit, and then you do FS through through manual, di ba? Wala pang computer nung time na yun. Okay? That's why mahirap, no? Debit and credit is paano kung magkamali ka pa sa pinakauna. Mali na lahat yan, hindi balanse. But now, because of this evolvement or development of computer-assisted accounting practice, anong tawag na? We have SAP now. We have QuickBooks. We have Peachtree. We have GL System. We have QNE. A lot of accounting software now. Okay? As long as you have money, you can buy everything. You can buy accounting software. But for me, of course, very important pa rin na you have concept, you have knowledge. Why is it that we debit asset? Why we credit? Why we credit liability? Why we credit owner's equity? Kasi pag mali na yung una mo dito, no? In San Miguel, I remember, ang ginagawa ko lang is just entry of journal and posting. Automatic, you have now your financial statement. Di ba madali? No? Hindi gaya dati, manual, as in, sobrang tagal. Okay? But now, yun, as long as you have money. Of course, kung nagsisimula pa lang kayo, you do manual using Excel, right? That's why development of it is yun, development of the lalo na ngayon, no? Since the new normal, we have an online class. So because of the technology advancement of and technology and development in terms of the computed assisted accounting practice. Alright. So ito yung sinasabi ni Christina, no? Accounting standards also. So if we have accounting software, we have also accounting standards of it. Hindi pwedeng walang standards din sa accounting practice or computer assisted accounting practice. Okay? Ayan. So wag na to. Sorry ito yung sinasabi ko na principles of bookkeeping, the principles of balance, the principles of double entry. Wherein total debit no should always equal to your total credits. Okay? That is the essence of the double entry bookkeeping. Ba't kaya nandito to? Sorry, baka naligaw to. Dapat nasa unahan to. Naulit lang. Ayan. So, naulit lang. Huwag na to. Alright, wag na yan. It is for... Huwag na. Ayan. So, we are done with the history. Alright. Accounting process. So, sorry I think I cover module 1 and module 2 kasi module 1 introduction, module 2 is accounting concept and accounting cycle. So, and 25 hours, diba? Okay. When you say accounting process, yeah, sabi niya, we identify, we record, we communicate, and we prepare FS. And the last should be analyze and interpret users. My question is, in terms of identifications of events, no? My question is, we record ba all events? What do you think is the, or you record ba everything in your business? What do you think is the answer? Again, my question is, you are required ba to record everything in your business? What do you think? Christina?
I think it's
Mm-mm.
hard, but I think it would be beneficial.
Mm-mm. Pupatol, hello? Christina? Alright, sige.
So I think it's in the discretion of like the business
Okay.
owner.
So
And if
discretion in terms of business, alright?
and if it involves resources and outputs.
Alright, so meaning discretion and should have resource documents. Alright, very good. What else? Kyle? Required ba to record everything?
Sorry, medyo sabog po eh. Pero,
Okay, no problem.
ano sir,
Nasa Bicol ka ba?
you may be
Nasa Bicol
required
ka?
to, you may be required to record everything, pero
Alright.
it's not really enforced ba? Yeah, it's not really properly followed.
Alright. Sige, sige. Rona? Very good. Kyle. Okay, Rona?
You're based lang po from experience. But
Mm-mm.
then, for instance, you have a liability and you can't estimate the amount that is put for that liability. You may not put it in the financial performance, but then for transparency purposes, you can put it sa footnotes so
Okay.
that the managers, the creditors, the investors will still know about it.
Very good. So basically, you talk about the notes to FS. Yes. So in terms of non-financial information, di ba? Tama yan. Wherein you record the financials in terms of the FS and then non-financial in terms of notes to FS. Very good, Rana. All right. But especially if you are Filipino businessman, yeah, you identify and you record ano ba ang nangyayari sa atin if you are Filipino businessman. Kasi I'm also consultant, no? Alam niyo ba, most of them, they record transaction, especially personal transaction as part of their business. 'Di ba? Ganun lagi ang mga Filipino businessmen. For example, bumili sila ng condo, 'di ba? Condo is not part of their business, but the money no came from the business. But the condo or car or any other personal property is for their personal use. How come you will record that as part of your expenses? How come you will record that as part of your assets? Since it is not part of your asset of the company. It is an asset of your personal property. That's why the answer for this is you should not record everything about in your business. You only record business transaction only. You set aside personal transactions. All right, question. Sir, what would you gain from doing that? Tingin niyo bakit? In terms of expenses. Of course, sige, may next question. Very good, Denise. That's for tax purpose. Why? Of course, if you record it as part of the expenses, what will happen to the bottom line or to the net income? It will decrease. If it will decrease, it will also decrease your tax payment. Very good, Denise. It is for the tax purpose. 'Di ba? That's why, in reality, sorry baka may mga businessman sa inyo, no? Wala ko pinapatamaan, ha? There are two sets of book for actual purpose and for BIR purpose. 'Di ba? Why? Gusto nila maliit ang bayad sa BIR. Yun yung reason. Okay? That's why, in terms of identification, in terms of recording, you should only record accountable events, which is business in nature. Okay? You should not record personal use, personal property as part of your business. Yung mga Chinese, Filipino-Chinese, stricto sila dito, di ba? As you notice, stricto sila dito. Kasi it is only for personal. We set aside personal. We set aside uh, personal use. We set aside, that's why it is called personal entity or, sorry, sole single proprietorship entity or accounting entity theory. Okay? You record only accountable events. All right. Understood, huh? So later, I will discuss about this. No? You record, you classify, and summarize. When you record journal entries, okay? Journalize, classify is your ledger. And you summarize it in terms of the accounts. And after that, pag tapos na kayo, you have now your accounting reports. What are the accounting reports? That's your financial statements. All right. There are 5 types of financial statements. You have your statement of financial position. Anong tawag dati ng statement of financial position? Yan ay tinatawag dati na balance sheet. Na? Yan. Ngayon, ang tawag na ngayon ay statement of financial position. Alright. Number 2, you have your statement of profit and loss or statement of comprehensive income. Dati, yan ay tinatawag na income statement. So, binago nila because of the accounting standards. Number 3, you have your cash flow statement. Okay? Dati, ang tawag dyan ay statement of cash flows. Same lang. Number 4, you have your statement of changes in equity. Alright. And number 5 is your notes to financial statements. Sinabi ni Ron, ha? Number 5 is basically your statement of, notes to FS. Alright. And after that, the role of accountant is to analyze and interpret the financial statement. I think in your second quarter, tama ba? Today is the first quarter. We will discuss how to interpret the FS. Hindi lang tayo more on recording, preparation of accounting reports, but for me, basic lang naman, basic on how to analyze and interpret financial statements. Di ba maganda yun, na? You know how to analyze if you have money and you want to invest in one particular company. Di ba? If you know how to analyze and interpret the FS, madali na yan, nasa inyo. Alright. So far, any question? So I will pause for now. If you have question.
Hello, sir.
Alright. Questions? Sure. Kyle.
Yung yung year po for Lucia Pacioli, I think it's wrong. Kasi
Alright, sige.
yung sa internet kasi, he died in 1517. So, yung
Mali
1940.
yung date. Mali yung 1947. Alright, sorry. I just get it in the book. So dapat anong date yan? 1957?
Yung, basta po, born siya 1447, so died 1517 yung nandito sa internet.
So mali yung 1947. Alright, sige. Sorry. Thank you for that. No? It is from the Book of Valencia. Alright, sige.
Okay.
Thank you, Kyle. Kaya nga, parang nagtaka din ako noon, no? Why is it at 1947? Okay, thank you, Kyle, for correcting the date, no? Alright. Di ba parang, how come na 1947, pero siya yung una, di ba? Before. Sige. Thank you, Kyle, ha? Alright. Christina? Alright.
So I came across
Christina, nawala. 1494. Sige.
so I came across the REA model of accounting.
Alright.
Like resources agents and resources events and agents. So I want to ask if in reality this is used by this is widely used worldwide, or is it just a matter of preference what structured accountants use to analyze? Yeah.
So sorry. I cannot hear your I could hear your the first part.
Oh, sir. The REA model of accounting.
All right.
Sources, events, agents.
All right. That's of course, very important is you have source documents, diba? Very important also if you have accounting transactions, no, in terms of recording, kasi very important also na you should not record transactions if you have no source documents. It is a mortal sin, no? Kasi walang audit trail, 'di ba? In terms of recording your transaction. Usually usually may fraud, may something na in terms of misstatement of FS. Why? In the first place, bakit mo i-record if there's no source documents or no accounting or accounts in terms of recording your or classifying your transactions? Ano pa yung isa? Account source documents, events and events, of course, and agent. Yan. In terms of events, yun nga, because you classify only accountable events, correct? And you set aside personal transactions. That's why you should not record everything about economic events. Okay? Sige, thank you, Christina. All right. Sige. All right. Question so far? May chat. Okay. Repeat the 5 statements. Okay. Again, what are the 5 FS? Number 1, you have your statement of financial position. All right. Financial position, or also known as balance sheet. All right. Number 1. Number 2, you have your statement of financial performance. Okay? Or now, dati, tinatawag yan na income statement. Alright. What else? Then, next is you have your statement of cash flows. Alright. And you have your statement of changes in equity. And the last is you have your notes to FS. I think the last part of it now, meron naman the FS. income statement, statement of profit or loss, statement of financial performance, statement of comprehensive income. Yun yung madaming term ang income statement na. Alright. And the last is the notes to FS or notes to financial statement. Alright.
Sir, can I ask?
Alright. Sa Chico. Okay.
Yeah, is the Philippines also making the shift towards changing the names of these financial statements?
Yes, because we are part of the International Financial Reporting Standards or IFRS and International Accounting Standards or IAS. So ano ginawa ng mga Pilipino? Pinalitan yung I ng P. So it is now called PFRS, Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. Totoo yan. And then Philippine Accounting Standards. Okay? It is part of it is the headquarters is in London. So kasi iba rin yung ibang ang standards sa US. US is called FASB, Financial Accounting Standard Board. Okay? That's why if you are CPA here, yes, you can be a CPA also in London and UK. Pero may exam pa daw eh. Kasi there are two kinds of accounting standards. You have FASB. Parang US lang yung naghiwalay eh. And then the rest of the world is IFRS. Hindi ko alam kung bakit naggustong maghiwalay ng US. No? Maybe, of course. Pero same lang naman. Same naman ng process. No? That's why if you are CPA here, you will also take the CPA board in the US. Alright. Again,
Sir?
thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for the date. Okay? Question?
Sir, is it okay
Aldrin.
if we use the old names?
Ano yan?
Is it okay if we still use the old names?
Sure. Yes. You can use the old name. No? As long as balance sheet, income statement, as you notice, di ba, madami pang hindi updated. No? May nakikita ako na FS na balance sheet pa rin, income statement, cash flows. Okay. As long as the essence of it is you record your asset, liability, owner's equity, you record the income statement, you record the net income. Okay lang naman. Question, wala na ba sa chat? Alright. If none, sige. Don't worry, just ask me question kahit sa messenger. Alright. Yan. So, who are the users of FS? Okay? There are two kinds of users in your financial statement. You have your internal user and you have your external users. Who are the internal users? Usually the top management, no? And usually this the employees are part of the internal users. Sino pa? Accountants, yan. Management, the manager are the internal users. Sorry, my sound. All right. Is cash sufficient to pay bills? So if you're accountant, if you're the accounts payable associate or accounts payable clerk, accounts payable staff, you should monitor the cash. Okay? In our company, ito yung trabaho ng mga accounts payable specialists. Why? They should monitor in paying our client if cash is sufficient to pay bills. All right. If you are cost accountant, no, your role is to monitor what are the cost in terms of manufacturing costs. If cost per product ba is sufficient in generating more revenue. All right. Or if you are the employee or if you are the human resource, you are the internal users. Can we afford to give employees salary increase? 'Di ba? Lalo na po ikaw ang empleyado, 'di ba? Taon-taon ba kami ay may salary increase? Alam niyo ba ngayon sa San Miguel, no? Before I left at San Miguel, inaasahan ko na may increase this year. But because of COVID-19, walang increase. 'Di ba? Bago ako, yun ang inaasahan ko sana kasi it will affect the retirement di ba? Kasi I availed the early retirement at San Miguel for 13 years. Walang nangyaring until now daw wala pa din salary increase, because of COVID-19. Understood naman, 'di ba? And the last, which product line is the most profitable? So if you are the top management, ano yung segment na profitable? Okay? When I was still in San Miguel, ano yung profitable na product namin? Sino ba yung sa inyo manginginom? Alright. Sa tingin nyo, ano yung pinakamataas or mabenta na San Miguel segment namin? Red Horse ba or San Mig Light? Yun yung dalawa. Yun yung dalawa. Yes, San Mig Light. Pangalawa, Red Horse. Okay? Kasi San Mig Light kasi pwede sa lahat, diba? Ayan. Naalala nyo ba yung San Mig Strong Ice? Yeah, I think that was during 2007 we stopped the production of, 'di ba, Kier, no? We stopped the production of San Mig. Talagang halatang-halata si Kier, no? Ayan. Okay, bata ka pa nun. But alam ni Kier, 'di ba? Anyway. Alright. Alam nyo, ano yung pinaka hindi profitable ng time na yun? Yung San Mig, Strong Ice. Pero masarap sana yun, no? Tatay mo. Alright. Ang sarap ng San Mig Strong Ice, sobra. Parang siya, parang San Mig Light din siya na mas matapang. Kaya lang, hindi siya profitable, no? That's why we stop production of it. Kaya ngayon wala nang San Mig Strong Ice, 'di ba? Anong pinalit? Yung San Mig Apple and San Mig Lemon, 'di ba? And may San Mig Lychee na kami, ha? San Mig Lychee. Ayan. So you can buy at 7-Eleven. Diba? Anyway, promote pa, no? Yun. Yun. So meaning, if you are the top management, you are part of the top management, and you want to know the FS, and you are the internal users, dapat alam mo kung ano yung profitable in terms of your product. Without the FS, malamang hindi mo malalaman kung sino ang profitable in terms of your product line. That's why very important is your 5 financial statements. All right. Christina, question?
Sir, question.
All right.
Hindi po ba may operational costs din for
Yes.
for stopping a product line?
Yes, very
For
good.
discontinuing?
Oh, you're advanced na. Very good. Yes, we have operation costs. For example, you have fixed cost of it. Kasi mag-stop man ng production niyan, you have still have the fixed costs. So ginawa namin, yes, we have strong ice. We stop the production of strong ice. Kaya lang, may pinalit kami, no? Ano yung pinalit namin? Yung San Mig Apple, San Mig Lemon. Kasi hindi pwedeng mawala yung strong ice without production ng ibang segment. Yun yan. Kasi, yun nga, tama ka, Christina, you have operating costs. Kahit anong mangyari, you will still pay for it. Ano yan? Depreciation of machinery. What else? The rental, kung may rental ka. The salary of supervisor. No? Mag-stop man ng production, you still continue to pay for them. Right? Labor. Very good, Jasper. Labor. Yes. Diba? That's why, hindi namin tinanggal namin, pero may pinalit naman. Kaya be careful if you have your own business, be careful in terms of stopping your production. Alright. Very good, Christina. Alright. You have also external users. Alright, so we are done with internal. You have also external. Who are the external users? So, sila yung mga number 1 dyan. Alam mo kung sino? Bureau of Internal Revenue. Binabantayan kayo niyan, no? Totoo 'yun, ha? Kasi I have so many clients kasi I have also my consultancy. Ang daming, lalo na yung time ni kilala niyo ba si previous BIR commissioner, Hinares, no? During the time of Pinoy, very active sila noon, no? Ang dami kong client na may LOA. All right? Because of, yun nga, giving them in terms of uh, revenue. All right. Sino pa? The government agencies, the supplier, the investor. Yes, very good, Bell. Investors are also part of the external users. Ang daming pera ni Bell, no? Gusto ko mag-invest sa San Miguel. Gusto ko mag-invest sa Colgate and Palmolive. Gusto ko mag-invest sa Unilever. So meaning, you should look for their financial statements. 'Di ba? Sino pa? Suppliers, yan. Alright. Competitors, yes. Lalo na competitors. 'Di ba? Binabantayan din kayo niyan, no? Hindi naman to copy, no? Hindi. Para at least to have healthy competitions. So, ano yung mga questions in terms of the external users? Yan, partners, banks. Very good. Banks pa pala. Okay, banks. Alright. Company satisfactory income. Yes. Is the company ba has more income? Especially if you are investors. Okay? Sorry. How does the company size and profitability with the competitors? So, ito yung sinasabi niya. Competitors are also part of the external users. Alright. Will the company be able to pay debts as they become due? Sino to? Suppliers. No? Common sense lang. Papautangan ka ba if you have a lot of accounts payable? Diba? And then you are deficit, meaning deficit, your liability is more than your assets. Diba hindi? If you are bank, diba? Deficit ka, papautangan ka ng bangko? Malamang hindi. Sorry, wala dito yung BIR. Yan. Basta BIR is also, yan, malamang dito yan, sa income. If you have enough income, if you have much bottom line, of course, revenue or the BIR will look into your FS. All right, very good. Question. Sir, are financial statements of companies made? Yes. If you are part of the public offering, or meaning you sell FS in public. So if you are part of PSE, Philippine Stock Exchange, 'di ba? You sell your stocks in public. SEC, required na your FS is you can have this in Google, you can search San Miguel FS. Okay? Christina.
Your question.
Mm.
For example, you have stocks sa
Mm-mm.
Philippine Stock Exchange.
Okay.
So if you profit off of your investment,
Mm-mm.
taxable pa rin po ba yung investment?
Yes, taxable.
Kahit nagbabayad naman po ng tax yung company.
Taxable siya if you are the investor. As you notice, if you buy stocks in public, although konti lang naman, may withholding tax yan. Konti lang naman. Maybe 2 pesos or 3 pesos. Even though na the companies also pay the tax, no? Yun, ganun yung gobyerno. Kailangan more taxes, no? Meron din. Pero in terms of investor, minimal lang if you invest less. Pero kung madami, significant influence, of course, malaki din yung tax mo. Kasi in the Philippines, tax progressive tayo, ha? Alright. Next. Bookkeeping as distinguished from accounting. Ito yung lagi kong sinasabi sa mga BS accountancy students. No? Dapat you should pass the CPA board exam. Why? Because if not, bookkeeper ka lang. Okay? But if you pass the CPA, you are accountant. Are the companies required to release their FS, or it is optional? Again, if you are part of the PSE, you are required, no? You are required to uh, uh, you are required to submit, no, the FS in public, 'di ba? Pero if you are not part of the PSE, you are not required. So if you have family corporation, hindi naman. Ano yung reason kung bakit some companies are they want to sell the stocks in public? Sa tingin niyo, ano yung reason? And then requirement ng SEC na yung FS mo, very good, capital, expansion, yes. Meaning, kung nasa public yung stocks mo, kahit sino pwedeng bumili ng stocks mo. Additional capital, additional funding for them. That's why you need to pass or submit the FS to SEC, and SEC recorded it in their website. That's why you can access. Alam niyo yung SEC, madaya din yan ngayon. Lately lang ha. Dati, wala naman bayad. Let's say you have money and you want to invest in, let's say, Dito Corporation. Yung Dito ha, DITTO, diba? Yung kay Dennis Uy ngayon. Sila ay nag-initial public offering. Dati, if you want to invest in Dito company, pwede mong ma-search yan, no? Automatic. Alam nyo ba ngayon, anong ginawa ng SEC? May bayad na. I think 10 pesos per page or 5 pesos per page. Although minimal lang naman, minimal. Pero kahit na, 'di ba? Dati wala naman bayad. Ayun, lahat na lang may bayad, no? Under the government of Duterte. Alright, dati walang bayad, no? You can search for it. Yes, unfair. Ewan ko. Yun yung ginawa nila ngayon, no? Kaya kasi sa Ateneo, sa AGSB, they're doing strama thesis, no? And then requirement sa kanila is to have FS of one of the company. Sabi nila, sir, may bayad na yung SE. Sabi ko, ha talaga? During our time, walang bayad dyan. Okay? Sir, how often should companies prepare their FS? Required is every year. Alright? That's why we have balance sheet date January to December. Let's say ngayon, 2020. January 2020 to December 2020. And then you are required to submit it to the SEC, to the Bureau of Internal Revenue on or before April 15. Diba, as you notice, busy-busy kami pag April 15. Kasi you have naman 3 months pa to prepare for it. And then, kailangan mong ipasa yan sa Bureau of Internal Revenue, lalo na sa Bureau of Internal Revenue kasi pag hindi, may penalty yan sa tax. Diba? Public debt kasi, sir, ang laki na. Yes, kailangan ng tax yun. Very good, Kyle. Kaya lahat na lang may bayad. Diba? Yes, unfair nga yan. Tama sa Chico, unfair. Pero wala tayong magagawa na. It is an executive order coming from the president. Although minimal lang naman, minimal. Let's say you have 5 pages, 2 pesos, I think 2 or 3 pesos. Kaya lang paano kung madaming nag-access noon, di ba? Dadami. Alright. Baka wala accountant gobyerno natin. Yes. Ewan ko ba. Anyway. Yan. That's why if you are bookkeeper, if you are accountant, you should pass the CPA board exam. Because if you are bookkeeper, okay. Because if you are the bookkeeper, and very important is you includes accounting, includes much more, and bookkeeping. Sorry. Wait. Sir, what are your thoughts on articles saying that in the future accounting will become fully automated? Wait, Sir, what are your thoughts on articles saying in the future accounting will become fully automated? Okay lang naman, no? If you have accounting in terms of it, no, as part of the future accounting, that's why very important also is no, in terms of the manual system, 'di ba? Hindi pwede na yes, you have your automated and then hindi mo alam na the essence of your accounting. All right? Kasi sino ba ang gumagawa in terms of the automated, 'di ba? Tao din, 'di ba? If ever na you should know no the debit and credit first before doing the automated. Kasi mahirap din kasi na you have no idea kung ano yung nilalagay mo in terms of uh, your automated, 'di ba? Wait kasi may nag-message lang. All right. Sir, what did you say to be the most profitable stocks while the pandemic? Okay, very good question, Ian. What is the most profitable one? Kasi I have my own investment in stocks, no? Ano yung pinaka-profitable? What do you think? During the pandemic, ano yung binili kong stocks? Unang-una, what is AC? Ayala Corporation Energy, yes. Ano yung una kong food? Very good. Number one is food. Ano yung pinakauna? Yes, the pure gold. Ang tumaas during, very good sa Chico, pure gold. Nag-invest ako sa pure gold. Alright? Tumaas hanggang ngayon. Bakit? 'Di ba during pandemic, saan pumupunta ang mga tao? 'Di ba sa mga grocery to buy their food, 'di ba? Ano yung pangalawa? Very good, food industry, Jollibee. Jollibee, bumaba yung Jollibee. Ano yung, yes, very good sa Chico, bank also. Dalawa lang ang nagbukas during the pandemic and medical, very good. Medical, medyo stable, medyo hindi kasi because of COVID, medyo nauubos sila ng stocks, di ba? Kasi hindi kaya ng mga hospital uh, to produce more. Pero dalawa lang talaga, pure the grocery items and the bank. Kasi yun yung dalawang nakabukas lang during the lockdown. As you notice, di ba? Pupunta ka sa Pure Gold, pupunta ka sa bangko. Kaya kawawa yung mga nagkatrabaho sa bangko. Pumapasok pa sila during the pandemic, naalala ko. Very good. Tech companies, yes. Online, yes. Lalo na nga, yes. Zoom, di ba? Dati, Lazada and Shopee, very good. No? Very good, very good. Alam nyo ba yung Zoom, hindi naman niya kilala dati. Di ba? Sino na number one ngayon in terms of the online platform? Zoom. Diba? Google Meet. No? The Microsoft Teams. And you have collab. Wag na collab pala. Last na yung collab. Pinaka, diba? You use ba collab in the Moodle na? Naiwan yung Skype, yes. Hindi, kasi yung Skype kasi, pero pinakauna talaga Skype, diba? Ano ginawa ng Skype ngayon? Ginawa nila, nag-upgrade sila. Yung Skype is Microsoft Teams lang naman yan. No? They upgrade it to Microsoft Teams. Yes, may Skype pa din, pero ayan, parang Nokia lang yan. Alright. Alright, sige. Accounting is basically it includes bookkeeping. Okay? It includes much more. That's why, if you are BS accountancy, you should be CPA. No? Kasi bookkeeping is, you just record everything. And there's only one part of accounting. Ayan. That's why you should be, if you are BS accountancy, dapat CPA ka. Okay? Auditing profession. Okay? So if you are accountant, you can be in public accountant, you can be private and not for profit. Sino yung mga public accountant? Alright? Sino yung mga public accountant? Yung Big Four, no? SGV, company, the KPMG, the Punong Bayan. Meaning, if you do public accounting, if you are public practitioner, you are in the public accounting. Okay? So, ano ginagawa mo dito? Audit. Diba? Yan. Isang perma lang. Naalala ko, sabi ng nanay ko dati, pag accountant ka daw, isang perma lang, may pera na. Totoo naman yan, no? Pero mahirap more responsibility. Private accountant naman, if you are accountant of San Miguel Corporation, if you're accountant of Colgate and Palmolive, you're accountant of Coke, Pepsi. So, if you are in a private accounting. So, ano ginagawa mo? Cost accountant, tax accounting, internal control, auditing. And not for profit kami, no? If you are in the academe, so not for profit, no? If you are in hospitals, government, colleges, PCSO, yan, labor union. So, yun. Ito lang naman, no? So, if you have time naman, no, you can shift. Wala kasi accounting sa Ateneo, di ba? Alam niyo ba sa Lasal, may ano sila, double major. So, if you're management engineering, you can also take BS accountancy. So, yan. And also, when you say accounting, you should also consider ethics. Again, in accounting, you should consider ethics. Bakit? I think sinabi niya kanina. May sinasabi sa tax. Sino na ba yung nagsabi? Ito yung tax, no? Yan. Number one, you should consider ethics because a lot of companies now have what? Have ethical dilemma. Okay? In terms of accounting. 'Di ba? Alam niyo yung sa US, 'di ba? Yung Enron and Arthur Andersen. Sorry, hindi ko pa pala na-upload sa... Sige, sorry. Thank you, Jasper, for reminding me that. Alright. I will show you maybe this weekend, no, about the ethical dilemma of Enron and Arthur Andersen. Diba? That's why in the US, they have Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Why? Because Enron reported fraudulent financial statement. Why? Kasi they offered stocks in public. Siyempre, kung ikaw ay may pera, alam mo na Enron operating at net income, much higher net income. That's why during that time, 'di ba, there was a global financial crisis. Bakit? Madami kasing bansa nag-invest sa Enron pero may anomalya pala. 'Di ba naalala niyo 'yun? I think 2000 to 2005, 2002 pala. There's a global financial crisis because of Enron, no? 'yun. And then kasabot pa nila yung kanilang accountant, yung external auditor. Sino 'yan? Arthur Andersen. Why? Because of this, if you are accountant, you should consider ethics, no? You should record FS with free, no, or free from error, free from fraud, and free from material misstatements. Of course, error, hindi mo naman maano yung error, pero hindi yung material misstatement. Di ba? Soon, no, when you work in the global or when you work in the industry, for soon, malalaman nyo rin to, no? That's why, ethics is the standard of conduct. Alright. To solve this, you recognize them, identify the elements, and you weigh the possible effect of this in terms of stakeholders. Ito yung nangyari sa Enron. The possible effect of the stakeholders. Alright, any question? before we go to simple recording. Walang question. Alright. If none, alright. GAAP. Alright. GAAP, sorry. Kasi GAAP daw, established siya sa pinakauna talaga sa Canada siya, no? But now, eventually, it is now part of the global, no? It is called GAAP. Okay? GAAP. Okay, accounting principles, accounting principles. But again, in the Philippines, it is called IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. All right. And it is now also called Philippine Financial Reporting Standards or Philippine Accounting Standards. Yan. Bakit kailangan may GAAP? Because of course, you have cost principles of it. You record the cost of your assets. Okay? And because of that, if you have money, you want to buy equipment, you want to buy transfer equipment, you want to buy everything in terms of your business, you have cost of it, di ba? Ayan. Parang na-miss ko yan, Christine, na yung background mo. Na-miss kong magturo dyan. Anyway, wala lang. Sa totoo lang, na-miss ko yung magturo sa schools. No? Mas iba pa din yung nasa schools, di ba? Anyway, in terms of accounting, we should follow assumptions. Number one, going concern. What do you mean of going concern? We assume that the organization will continue in foreseeable future. Meaning, common sense. Of course, pag nag-business ka, iisipin mo dapat natatagal ang business mo. Di ba? San Miguel Corporation is now 131 years of brewing excellence. Without the going concern, malamang hindi tatagal ang San Miguel, 'di ba? Hindi mo naman sinasabi na maging negosyo ako para malugi ako. No. You think that you are always in a going concern, 'di ba? You will exist indefinitely, right? You will exist more than a decade or kahit magtagal pa, no? Yan. Of course, monetary unit is also part of it. What do you mean of this? You have Philippine peso, you have the term of money, you have accounting records. Lahat yan ay may monetary unit. If your debit has monetary unit, dapat you have also your credit. Okay? Sorry, economic entity. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. You separate your personal to your business. You only includes organization or unit and society, not your personal use, not your personal transaction. It is called economic entity or separate entity theory. Okay? Ayan, yan. Madami pa to, but ito lang yung nilagay ko no para uh, to be able to understand well bakit kailangan ng accounting. Alright. Business, okay. Alam niyo na to, sole proprietorship owned by one, partnership owned by two or more persons, okay. And corporations, artificial being governed by law, alright. And yan. Proprietorship is when you have your equity, it is called owner's equity. Okay? When you have partners capital, you have partners equity. When you have corporation, you have shareholders equity. Alright. Ano pa kakaiba nito? Ito ay governed by, owned by one, two or more. Ito naman ay governed by law. That's why you have Corporation Code of the Philippines. So, among this, no, ano yung pinakamaganda? Of course, corporation. Why? Ang utang ni San Miguel Corporation ay hindi mo utang. 'Di ba? Hindi ka hahabulin if may utang ang korporasyon. Pero if you are, especially if you are sole proprietor, let's say Ryan Bicedo Company, sole proprietorship, ang company ni Ryan na may utang sa isang company ay utang din ni Ryan as their owner. That's why now there's now sole corporation. You can create your own corporation even if you are alone. You are only or owned by one person. Yan. Sorry, hindi ko pa kabisado yung sole corporation pero versus sole proprietorship, no? Mas maganda sole corporation, right? And also part of the corporation is also cooperative, no? You have also cooperative. Yan. Take note of this term, owner's equity, partner's equity, and shareholders equity. Kasi later we will discuss that as part of your basic accounting equation, which is asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. All right. Yan. Walang question before we go to the basic accounting equation. All right. What is the basic accounting equation? Asset is equals to your liabilities plus owner's equity. Owner's equity again, if you are sole proprietorship, it is owner's equity. If you are sole proprietorship, owner's equity. If you are partnership, it is called partner's equity. If you are corporation, it is called stockholders equity. Same lang naman yan. Depende siya in terms of the business enterprise or business ownership. Again, this is the rule of debit and credit. Diba? Your asset should always equal to your liabilities and owner's equity. Dapat lagi, Alright. What do you mean of assets? Assets are resources owned by the business, things have the value of it, and in terms of production. Ano yung mga assets? You have your cash, you have your account receivable, you have your inventories, you have your investment, you have property, plant, and equipment, you have supplies, yan, assets. Later, I will discuss the kinds of assets. Liabilities, in layman's term, utang, claims against your assets. Debts and obligations. All right. And owner's equity naman is always your net worth. All right. Equal to your assets minus liabilities. So, go back to the formula. Algebra tayo. Assets minus liabilities, you have your owner's equity. Okay? What composed of the owner's equity? Beginning capital, drawings. Sir, ano yung drawings? Nagdo-drawing ka ba? Hindi. Drawings. Okay, ano yung drawings? Sige. Very good, Bell. Drawings is withdrawal. Okay? You withdraw cash from your company. And then you have your revenue and you have your expenses. Capital is an addition. Revenue is an addition. You minus drawings and you minus expenses. Okay, later, I will discuss the owner's equity. All right. Investment. So part of your capital is investment. So meaning, capital is asset put in your business owner. Okay. So addition to your capital or investment will increase your owner's equity. Common sense, no? If you add investment, of course, it will be added to your owner's equity. Drawings naman, sabi ni Bell, it is withdrawal. Very good. Withdrawal. So, meaning, common sense, you have your capital, you have your investment, let's say you have 10,000 plus 5, you have 15. Kailangan mo ng pera pang tuition kasi naka-enroll ka sa Ateneo. Pwede yon. Kasi you are naman the owner of the company. So, withdrawal. So, meaning you minus the drawing. Let's say, kumuha ka ng 1,000. So, meaning, your capital now is not 15, but it is now 14. Alright. Drawing will decrease your owner's equity. Yes. Revenue is the gross increase in owner's equity. So revenue is called sales, 'di ba? Module 3 is basically the merchandising. So we will discuss sale of merchandise. But now, Module 1 and Module 2, service lang tayo, no? We will discuss more on the performance of services. Meaning, sale of merchandise, pure gold, no? You sell merchandise, buy and sell lang to, no? You, tindahan, if you have your own store, di ba, you buy at pure gold, then you sell it. Yun lang. Okay? Performance of services. So if you are doctor, CPA, if you are lawyer, 'di ba? You perform services. Pag matapos yung service mo, you have your money, 'di ba? Yan. Rental of property, kung may renta ka, and 5-6 na. Sino ba nag 5-6? You lend money. Yan. So you have revenue. And you have also expenses. So expenses naman, ito yung sinasabi ni Christina kanina, operating costs. It is part of expenses, 'di ba? Assets or decrease your owner's equity or assets consumed or services performed and you have cost of it. Yeah. Ano yun? Kuryente. Siyempre, performance of services, kailangan mo magbayad sa Meralco. Kailangan mo magbayad sa water. Wala naman libre lahat, no? Kailangan mo magbayad ng salary expense sa tao mo. 'Di ba? Kailangan mo bumili ng supplies. Kailangan mo bumili ng coupon bond. 'Di ba? Let's say wala kang opisina, nagrerenta ka lang. Kailangan mo magbayad ng rent. Hindi lang more on revenue, but you consider also expenses. No? That's why you have your expenses. All right. So that's composed of your owner's equity. So if you have owner's equity, the inflow of it is investment, additional investment, and the revenue. And you will minus withdrawal, and you will also minus expenses. Okay? So you increase owner's equity, and you decrease also the here. All right. So far, any question before we go to transaction? Okay? Simple recording lang tayo later. Simple recording. Wala pa tayong debit and credit ha. Para maintindihan nyo the essence of it. Okay? Question? Okay, Christina, question?
Here. So,
Mm-mm.
applicable po ba ang drawings for all types of businesses?
Yes. Applicable siya drawings. Kasi owner ka naman eh. Ikaw naman yung nag-invest ng pera mo sa company.
Kahit
Uh,
corporation.
no. Corporation hindi. Basically, the drawing is for partnership and for owner's equity. Drawing hindi. Kasi walang drawings in terms of the corporation. Kasi what composed of retained earnings is only the revenue and expenses. Very good question, Christina. Bakit? Kasi corporation, ang daming owner nun, di ba? Very good, Christina. Pero partnership, kayo lang naman and the owner's equity. Very good point, Christina. All right. Question. All right. Sige. Next is all about transaction analysis. So go back to the basic, go back to the accounting equation. Asset is equals to liabilities plus your owner's equity. Okay? Kasi ayaw ko yung discuss ko kaagad yung debit and credit. For me, gusto kong maintindihan nyo the essence of the debit and credit. So, ito yan, no? Ito yung ginagawa dati of the simple recording. Alright. For example, Mark Doucet decide to open computer programming service. So, ang business niya is to do computer programming. So, okay? So, service, performance of services is part of his revenue. All right. Okay. September 1. What if he invests $15,000 cash in business? So, which he named SoftBite. So, he created his own company and invested $15,000 and the cost of it is $15,000. The name of his company is SoftBite. Go back to our equation. asset is equals to your liability plus owner's equity. So, ano yung entry for that? Of course, you have additional or you have addition to your cash of 15,000. And you have also 15,000 owner's equity. Remember, owner's equity, you add investment, right? And also, you have also cash as part of your asset. Go back to the accounting equation. Asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. Parehas ba? 15,000 in the assets, 15,000 in your liability and owner's equity. Equal ba? Yes. Very good. All right. Increase in asset cash because Mark Doucet invested 15,000. Right? And equal also increase to the owner's equity of Mark Doucet because it is part of his investment. All right, clear? All right. Kasi later, I will discuss about debit of assets and credit to your owner's equity. All right, number 2. Out of 15,000, he purchased daw computer equipment cost $7,000. What do you think here is the transaction? Anong mangyayari sa asset, liability, and owner's equity? Anyone? Any guess? Okay lang.
Can I try, sir?
Sige, sa Chico. Touchy na lang, no? Sige.
Yeah.
Alright, got it.
Decrease in cash by
Very good.
7,000
Very good.
and increase in equipment by
Very
7,000.
good. Very good, Sachi. Okay? Okay, very good. Yan. Why? Yung 15,000 na invest mo, it will decrease your cash by 7. That's why your cash is now 8,000. But you will increase your equipment because you bought an equipment cost 7,000. Again, still balance ba? 8 plus 7, still 15,000. Sa kabila naman, still 15,000. Still balance, di ba? Cash is decreased by 7 and the asset equipment is increased by 7. That's why still balance in terms of asset is equals to liabilities plus your owner's equity. All right, very good, Sachi. Next. Softbite purchases. So meaning we imbalance na yung carry over no sa previous, di ba? Yan. Softbite purchase computer equipment and supplies. Hala na, sabi ko na. Sorry, naklik ko kaagad. Alright, what if you purchase supplies worth 1,600? So what is the entry? Kaya lang, on account, wala kang pera. So, pwede bang utang muna yung 1,600? Pwede naman. Alright, that's why you will increase 1,600 in your supplies because you have additional supplies of 1,600. Sa kabila naman is you have liability of 1,600. Kasi utang to. It is part of your accounts payable. My question is, still balance pa ba? 8 plus 1,600 plus 7 is 16,600. 1,600 plus 15 is 16,600. Balance pa? The answer is yes. No? The asset supplies is increased by 1,600 and liability is also increased by 1,600 because it is or you purchase supplies on account. Very good. Next. So carry over again the balance 8,167. All right. Next. SoftBite received 1,200 cash from customers for programming services it has provided. Ano yung entry dito? What if you receive cash from customers for programming services since... Okay, sige. Nicole.
Can I try, sir?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Plus 1,200 in cash, and then
Okay.
plus 1,000 on the owner's equity, but that's revenues.
Very good. Very good. So, very good, Nicole. So, meaning, you receive cash of 1,200. Okay? And then, owner's equity of 1,200. Again, remember, ano yung component of owner's equity? Investment, revenue, expenses, and your drawings. Very good. So, if you add this, same, di ba? Ano ba yan? 17,800 na. Yan. Meaning, cash is increased by 1,200 and mark Duset capital is also increased by 1,200. Very good. So, still balance here. All right. Very good, Nicole. Next. SoftBite received bill for 250 advertising. So, meaning we say that 250 is part of expense. Kasi 250 kasi is also part of the asset. Pero for now, it is part of expenses. No? But pay the bill at a later date. What do you think is the transaction or the effect of the transaction? 250 is part of your expense. Wala? Sige lang, any guess? Yes, liabilities. Kyle, yes, liabilities. Okay. Cash, yes, liabilities, but 250 is part of the expense. Not cash kasi wala kang pera, di ba? Alright. Supplies ba? Sorry, it is part of your expense. Remember, what compose of your owner's equity? Very good, Isabella. Alright. Very good, Shanlina. Very good. So meaning it is a decrease in your owner's equity. Why? It is an expense, right? And you have also liability of 250. Diba? So if you add this, still you have, pera ba yan? 16,800 ba? Ayan, if you add that. Alright, very good. Alright, so meaning decrease in your capital and also increase in your payable. So if you add that, still you have the same. Okay? So accounts payable is increased by 250 and M dues at capital is decreased also by 250. Alright. Next, SoftBite provides programming services worth 3,500 for customers and receive cash of 1,500 with the balance naman is payable on account. So, di ba? We are in the programming services, okay? And then out of 3,500 you receive only 1,500. Walang pera yung customer mo. So, makano yung balance? 2,000, no? So, what's the entry there? So, simple recording lang tayo, okay? What do you think is the answer for this? Alright, may nag-chat. Service income. Very good, Clarissa. Alright. So, meaning, you receive cash of 1,500 and walang pera yung customer mo. And ito muna, 1,500 muna ilagay mo. Then, 3,500 as part of your revenue. And if you minus that, it is part of your accounts receivable. Alright. Ilan ba to? Pag in-add mo, same pa din, no? 6, 7, 8, I think 16,800. Sorry. Yan. Ilan ba yan? 10,7 plus 10,7 plus 2,000 plus 1,600, you have 14,300, diba? Yan. Wait. Yan. So if you add that, so same, no? Okay. 21,300. Very good. So meaning, you add owner's equity, you add AR, and you add cash now, which is 21,007. So cash is increased by 1,500, and then AR is increased by 2,000, and do set capital of 3,500 as part of your owner's equity. All right. Very good, Clarissa. Next, transaction number 7. We consider that the 600, 900, and 200 are part of expense, okay? And then you paid cash. What is the entry? Madali lang to, di ba? Anyone, what is the entry for this? Don't worry, I will give you this PowerPoint na. All right. Anyone? Transaction number 7. All right. Very good, Jeff. Very good, Kyle and Ian. No, very good. So you will minus all expenses in your owner's equity, and then also you will minus cash, diba? So you will minus that, you will minus, and still you have the same, no? So you minus, yan. So cash is decreased by 1,700, and M Duset capital is also decreased with the same amount of 1,700. All right. Next, number 8. SoftBite pays its bill in advertising for 250. Take note kanina, di ba? Meron tayong advertising. Walang pera yung customer. Pero in number 8, sorry, walang pera yung SoftBite. But now, may money na si SoftBite. And binayaran niya is 250. What is the entry? Very good. Cash and accounts payable. Very good, wala. Anyway, very good. So meaning 250 and liability of 250. Okay? Cash is decreased by 250 and accounts payable by 250. Alright. Maning-mani pala sa inyong accounting. Diba? Next. Sum of 600 in cash. And, sorry, di ba dati walang pera yung customer? But now may pera na. Pero 600 lang yung binayaran. Diba? The sum in 600 in cash and the customers will be billed in transaction. What is the entry? Very good. Cash and accounts receivable. Very good to all. Ian, Christine, Bell, Chase. Iyan. So you add cash and you minus account receivable by 600. Now, cash is received by 600 and AR is decreased by 600. Ayan. Very good, clear. Okay? All right. And 10. Mark Doucet withdrew cash 1,300 in cash from the business for his personal use. What is the entry for this? Very good, Bell again. And Joyce. Era. Okay, Alvin, Jasper. Okay, very good. So the answer here is you minus capital and you minus cash of 1,300. All right? Because you less cash and you less your equity. Okay, Rina also. Okay? Of 1,300. All right. So, magkano lahat ang ating asset? How much would be our liability and owner's equity? So, if you add that, dapat you have the same. Na? 8,050 plus 1,400 plus 1,600 plus 7,000. You have 18,050. Parehas ba? In liability and owner's equity, 1,600 plus 16,450. Yes. Still, 18,000 0.50. The cash is the, meaning still you have asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. My question, sir, when would a net loss happen if ever? Yes. There's a net loss. Yung owner's equity mo dito has a negative balance. Alright? Or pwede naman positive to, but the effect of it is you have net loss in terms of the owner's equity. Pero still, asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. Same pa din yan. Okay? Pero pag yan ay hindi nagbalanse doon, may problema ka in terms of the basic accounting equation. Alright. So far, any question? Mabilis ba ako? Hindi naman. Hindi naman. Alright. Slow ba? Okay. Kasi yung ibang estudyante na appreciate nila ito kasi mas naintindihan nila before going to the asset, liability, and owner's equity normal balance. Okay? Alright. So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Di ba? FS. 4 siya pero 5 for me. 5. Kasi 4 kasi ito yung pinaka-main. Income statement or also known as statement of profit or loss or statement of financial performance, statement of comprehensive income. So it presents the revenue, expenses, net income, or net loss for a specified period of time. You have also statement of owner's equity, statement of changes in equity for the specified period of time. Okay? And you have also balance sheet or also known as statement of financial position, or you report the asset, liability, and owner's equity. And you have also cash flow statement. You summarize all your cash flows. You summarize all your cash payment. I think module 6 is we will discuss about cash flow statement. And the last is the notes to FS. It is the integral part in terms of financial statement. So, ano yung mga sample ng ating income statement? Ito yon. Ito kanina, ginawa natin. So, with these transactions, no? Yan. So, gagawa tayo ng financial statement, which is income statement. So, you record all your service revenue. Okay? Then, you also record all your expenses, salary expense, rent expense, advertising expense, and all expenses, okay? And you add that, and you have your net income, which is at 2,750. All right. So, in terms of income statement, you only record revenue and expenses. All right. If you are in the service company, in the module 3, we will discuss about merchandising. Mag-iiba na to, no? It is now sales, then cost of goods sold, and you have also expense pa din, and you have net income. Kaya madali, di ba? Pag service company ka lang. You have your service, you have revenue, and you have your expense. All right. So it's as shown below, you have 2,750 income statement as part of the owner's equity. How about statement of changes in equity? So you just record lang capital of the company, then additional investment. Diba ito kanina net income? Diba? Ito yung 2,750 ha? Yan. So meaning it is to be recorded in your capital of 2,750. Then di ba nag-withdraw siya ng 1,300? So makano yung ending natin ng capital? 16,450. Ayan. And you have also, yan, net income is to be carried forward from income statement to your statement of owner's equity. Magkano dati ang kanyang capital? Di ba 15,000? And now it is now 16,450. 450. All right. How about the balance sheet or statement of financial position? Oh, yan na. Your cash, your AR, your supplies, your equipment. You have your assets. And you have your payable. As you notice sa capital, di ba? Hindi na siya yung 15,000 but 16,450. Saan to galing? Diba ito yan? 16,450. As you notice, is balance pa? Yes, 18,050. 18,050. So, owner's capital of 16,450 at the end of the reporting period shown in the statement of owner's equity of 8,050. It should, sorry, is also part of this capital. Then the 8050 daw should be equal to your cash flow later here. Yan. As you notice in the cash flow, your cash here should be equal to this. Alright? Hindi pwedeng hindi siya balanse ha? Alright. Don't worry, I will discuss this thoroughly when we are now in the module 6. So ano to? Diba meron tayong cash receipt from customers of 33. And then nagbayad tayo sa suppliers ng 1,950. So you have 1,350. Diba we purchase equipment? But, sorry, there are three kinds of activities in the cash flow. You have operating. Operating meaning it is for the ordinary course of business. Investing naman, if you purchase equipment, if you have additional investment. Financing naman, if you avail loan. Okay? Yan. Diba you have also investment of it, 15,000. Drawings of 1,300. So meaning 8050 here should be equal to this of 8,050. Okay? All right. Cash of 8,050 on the balance sheet and cash flow should be the same, no? On your cash flow and your balance sheet. So using the information of the FS, you have annual reports and you have non-financial and you have financial. Sabi na na kanina, non-financial should be disclosed in your notes to FS. All right. Oh, tapos na. Question so far? Sakto tayo 9:55.
I have a question, sir.
Question, sige. Sure.
Are you gonna post this?
Yes. I will post this. So later, expect that it is now in your canvas, the PowerPoint presentation. And then, I will give you assignment. What you will do is like this. No? What you will do is here. No? Ito na gagawin niya. No? So assignment is you will do this and then you analyze it. No? Para next meeting, you can be able to identify the rule of debit and credit. Okay? Sabi ni question, can you go back with the cash flow statement? Here, cash flow. Graded, yes. Okay, gusto niya bang graded? Tignan natin, no? Alam mo, taas niya sa ano. Alright. Sir, what about? Yes, recording also, no? Hopefully, kaya siyang pwede. Kasi sa Lasal na send ko yung recordings sa Canvas. No? Sana kaya ng memory. No worries. No, gusto ko matuto kayo sa accounting. Okay? That's why I will give you entirely my materials. Okay? Question? Do you have question, Shanli? Cash flow? Okay na. You just screenshot. Okay. Nicole, question?
No, I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Hopefully you learned. No? Hopefully you learned. That's the most important. Okay. All right. No worries. I will give you my recording later. Okay. I have time now. Kasi for the past 2 weeks, no, we are in the budgeting. Grabe, sobra. Sobrang pagod. Alright, thank you, Jasper. Yes. Alright, if none, sige. Thank you, Jermaine. If none, thank you for this time. So hopefully, see you again on next meeting. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Alright,
you,
sige.
sir.
Okay, mag-almusal
See
muna ako.
you.
Gutom na ako.
Thank you, sir.
Kain
Thank you,
po,
sir.
sir.
Alright,
Thank you,
sige. Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye po.
Bye-bye. Sige, sige.
Bye.
Bye-bye.